Good day, YouTube. Modern Colonist dropping in. Um, I just wanted to bring to you guys' attention a few things about genetically modified organisms and the foods and their effect. About 15 years ago, whenever I was a lot younger, I told my people all the time about genetically modified organisms. It says it on the label when you're in the store. Don't buy it. It's not good for you. It can eat holes through your internal systems. Keep in mind, back then it was 15 years ago. I did not know what I know now about these foods. Now I know a little bit more about the effect of these foods. These foods are genetically modified. That means mankind and big corporations think that instead of letting Mother Nature do what Mother Nature's been doing, that Mother Nature is inherently flawed and wrong. Also, they believe that they can make more of a profit on Mother Nature by modifying the foods, etc. They also, in my own opinion, I believe that they know that if they feed this to the population, that's going to make a lot of money for the medical industry, etc. Hence why the people who, people always say, for example, the vaxes are not bad. People say that they cause autism, but that is not medically founded, And I heard that one time from a really smart person in the medical field. She's a lead nurse. She's very smart in her craft, okay? And this is what these institutions that are doctors and nurses and medical professionals and pharmaceutical industry agents are being taught. They don't think that these things are bad for us. They believe that our bodies are made wrong from God. That's what they believe. And they believe that for us to live, we need intervention from these corporations. Now, these genetically modified foods affect our body these foods they do not have an equal arrangement of nutrients in them. What I mean is, for example, if you take vitamin C, you need to take magnesium and zinc as well, the cofactors of the vitamin. But whenever we go into nature and we eat an orange, we don't need to take any cofactors to get the vitamin C because it's perfectly balanced as it is from nature. But whenever these foods are genetically modified, they are imbalanced. And whenever we eat them, that means that our body is going to have to take away our cofactors from our reserves in our body to be able to digest that food. Another problem with genetically modified foods is, like I said, they eat holes into our system because our system does not know how to digest them. They are unnatural, and they are basically like our body thinks that they're unseen in our body. Our bodies do not know how to digest these created foods. Okay. Another big problem with genetically modified foods is that in our stomach, we have a very diverse portfolio of microbacteria. These bacteria help us digest the food that we cannot digest all of, okay? These bacteria communicate with our brain. These bacteria affect the way we think, feel. These bacteria are a big part of who we are. They make up just as many of our cells, basically, as we do. They basically are us, okay? Now, these chemicals that we're eating in our food, the additives and preservatives that we're eating in our food, the pesticides on the fruit and vegetables, the genetically modified foods, everything is an attack on nature, natural. Every single thing is an attack on who we truly are naturally. The goal in the future will be to change everything on this planet into a controlled digital grid. Every single insect, bug, plant, grass, pool, everything that you can imagine will be marked, and it will be collateralized in the new government that we're getting ready to have after this catastrophe that happens. What's happening is we are getting absolutely played because we've been weakened by our horrible food. The men have been enslaved to the women. We come from a time in history where men would crack women in the head, knock them senseless if they would ever try to dare to speak up to the men. Now, I do not agree with that today, but I also do not agree that the family court system needs to act like we are monster animals. What's happened is, whenever the Federal Reserve was started, my friends, only the men had to work. They worked and supported multiple children, a family, owned a house, owned cars, boats, items, toys, and only the man had to work. Women would stay home and teach their children the principles of the family. Now today, with inflation, which is taxation without representation, which is enslavement, which is weakness of people that are seeing this happen but don't speak up. Now you have to have the men working, the women working, and you're still barely making it. This is a system of enslavement, okay? And the political division in this country is a cult. If you support Donald Trump or Biden without anything that they could do to make you not support them, because they are bigger than now, you are in a cult and you are a silly fool. Okay, and I will tell you that to your face, and I've done many people in the past. Whenever we eat these foods, guys, and whenever we let our government power shift and enslave us, pedal to the metal, we are going to be let that to happen to us because we're the ones doing it. Okay, but what I need to tell you is that a lot of the people I speak to think that they have no other option to do. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? They got to not let him get in. They got to not let her get in. These issues are the foundation of why this country has gotten here now. Because instead of the people coming together to work out their differences, they would much rather turn on the TV and say, he's bad, she's bad, instead of working out their problems with the people, one another. We support the government more than we support our own neighbors. Donald Trump shut this country down during COVID, and everybody said he only did that because he had bad people around him. Joe Biden, the same thing. Everybody's making excuses for their leader. This is a cult. I want you guys to understand that every single thing I speak about is tied together. The food, the prices, family problems, child support, family relationships, alimony. Okay? All this stuff is tied together. It's called the Communist Manifesto. The Communist Manifesto has been totally implemented in our country. Just read it. You will see. And if you still, a lot of people would say, oh, I'm not reading that. You're just an idiot. Those people are the shallow people that you need not worry about, okay? You need to worry about the people who have enough energy in their body to actually have enough integrity to say, I didn't know about that before. Let me go check that out and see what I think about it. Not turn the TV on and see what they tell me about it, okay? You need to know that everything is tied together. There's a concerted effort to dumb our people down, to put stuff in our body medically by force. What if cancer, guys, is being created from our body in order to save us from our horrible decisions? And we think it's such a bad thing. Maybe we should repent, which means to turn around from everything that we've been taught, realize that maybe it's not true, and just verify our beliefs from a first-person perspective, doing our own research. Now, it's my opinion that what's going to happen in this country is the same thing that's happened to every other country that gets ready to collapse. Democracy, as stated by our founders in the Federalist Papers and the Anti-Federalist Papers, all our founders agreed that democracy is not freedom. And because it's not freedom, it will encourage anger, rage, and violence. Because what's happening is the majority of the people are telling you that your opinion doesn't matter no more, and it can be legally used against you. For example, you got 10 people in the room. One person likes guns, the other 9 people don't. So they all vote to get rid of guns, but what happens to the one guy's opinion? It doesn't matter no more? America was not founded on those principles of democracy, mob rule, majority rule. America is a republic founded on principles that every man and woman is intelligent enough to make their own choices, as long as they don't hurt other people. Right now, with all the government officials talking democracy, democracy, save our democracy, stealing our democracy, you need to realize through education, to make you have courage enough to stand up for, through long hours of research and education, that we are not no stinking democracy. We are a republic under God. Okay? So some things you can do. Self-love. Talk to yourself, care about yourself. Bad things happen to you, you take something good out of them and make them positive always. Whenever you decide to go and eat that pizza, you think to yourself, I know what I'm doing to myself. And be honest with yourself. You're going to create cancer in your body, and you're going to blame it on your body. But it's really your mind. I mean, it's really your body controlling your mind to go take those actions. We need to gain control over our body through discipline of the animal body. They say we are not perfect, but we are perfect. Our mind is perfect. Anything that you imagine in your mind, it cannot be flawed. It is perfect. You can make it perfect if it's not perfect. Our mind is the connection to the ether. It's the connection to all the other dimensions. They don't want us to know that. If we would find out that we are so much more than just being in this body, and when we go to sleep, it's just a dream, we would realize the true nature and power and strength that we inherently have and have been given, have been commanded to use for good, the force for good. So I just want you guys to know that what's going to happen in this country is what our founders knew 200 plus years ago would happen. They said that every democracy, 100% of the time, because of its inherent nature of not being free and taking other people's voice away and rights away from them because the majority said so, always collapses. And on its ashes, they said that a dictatorship always emerges. So I want you guys to see, look at the political division. If you look at all these things from a perspective of knowing the field, knowing the end zone, you will see every first down, okay? Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Bush, Obama, all the rest of them have all done their part of advancing the big bankers' enslavement of our people. There is no such thing as Joe Biden don't like Trump. That is a WWE sideshow, my friends. And I know there's a lot of people who won't believe me, but why would you not believe in your own fellow Americans that the danger that we're in? Would you believe in the founders of this country whenever they said democracy is inherently Marxism and communism? And that whenever the democracy collapses because of its inherent nature, what comes on it is a dictatorship? If you know these things and you've done the research, then you know that what's happening on the TV every day is propaganda. We're being divided to hate each other. There are events in this country coming in order to collapse this country artificially and then establish a 100% total top-down government control grid for the bankers because they own this country and everything in this country has been pledged against the national debt. Our national parks, our homes, everything has been pledged. Your car, your house, everything you got to pay taxes on is not yours. If you have a house that's paid off, you don't have the ownership title. You have a tenant title. You are not the owner of that property. The United States government owns your property. You guys must, as Americans, wake up immediately to your enslavement and realize that you are walking down a path of utter destruction. And you need to stand on the side of truth and righteousness before you are taken out. Okay? More people need to educate themselves, and more people need to take the next act of self-care and love. That's all I got for you guys today. Modern Colin is signing out.